welcome back to the YouTube channel for episode number 5. We're making some pretty significant improvements, so let me give you a quick tour on things I've been doing off camera. Significantly reduced some of the stuff that was out here. I made progress on the truck too. Not really progress, but if you remember, there used to be a workbench over here. I got rid of that, got rid of a bunch of stuff. Some of this stuff used to be over there, so I kind of just reorganized and we eliminated some of this stuff. Between donations and the dump, I got rid of a bunch. Let me show you my actual work site, which I do all of my work over here, and look how much space we have. It's a little bit of a mess right now because I'm working in here, but look at how much more space I have, which is awesome. I set up my pull-up bar, dip bar, got some, a weight vest, and a weighted bag. So made some significant improvements and good progress. Let me take you through what we're doing and what I got cooking. I can't see crap up here in the attic, so I'm adding some lights. I have 2 lights. It's hard to see on camera, but there's 2 lights right there. I had them laying around, and I'm going to utilize them for in-attic lighting. With how much stuff I'm adding up here, it would be nice to, be able to see without having to go get my Milwaukee tower light all the time. I've got all this Romex left over, got boxes left over, switches. Let's add some lights up here. I just basically get to work. I start by mounting the actual lights, because depending on where I installed the lights at was going to depend on where I installed the receptacle. The hardest part for me was deciding where I was going to put these lights, because I have so much going on up here in the attic that I was like, you know what, it would be nice to have lights in other areas of the attic, but I think that this would be the most universal and the best use of the lights for now. So I installed them right there at the access, and then just pretty much install an outlet that's going to be switched as you enter, the attic space. That's the outlet box going in right there, and I'm running the switch leg to the outlet. And all I did for power was pull off of the existing junction box up there. Because this isn't going to be like a continuous use situation, I didn't think it was a problem to consider loading it all. The actual junction box that's inside the attic space already currently serves the rest of my lights that light the garage now. So you can see now I'm tying into that junction box right now, or at least I'm running the Romex over to it. I'll tie into it in a little bit. But that's where my source was at, is on that beam. Once I get all the wiring ran, I just start wiring it up, and this is my switch box, so this is where I will be turning it on as I enter the attic space. The neutral basically expresses through there. It's just a junction box and then feeds the light. And then here's my source of where I grabbed the power from. And what I was doing right there with the little hot stick was trying to identify which side was my hot and which side was my existing switch leg. Yeah, fairly simple stuff, I guess. Alright guys, moment of truth. Crazy light up here now. So that's freaking a great use of some old lights. That's way better than my tower light. I don't care what you say. And now all I have to do, hit the light switch, come up here, turn it on, turn it off. So yeah. And moving right along, I don't know why I didn't film any intro video to this section, but what I'm doing here is I'm building my mini fridge panel so that, one, the mini fridge can sit on an elevated level, which would be the same height of my cabinets. And then I'm building that right side wall so that it kind of hides the mini fridge a little bit. I think that the wood just, make it all match, make it look cohesive, I guess. And rather than having the stainless steel exposed, I may install a door on this in the future, but I haven't decided yet. Since I only used pocket holes to secure the platform that the mini fridge sits on, I built this little eye to support the weight of the mini fridge because it's so heavy. I didn't think the pocket holes was enough. This was my previous air compressor, and obviously just a hose reel, wind it up, expand it, do all that. But I upgraded to this hose reel, which is cool, it's not bad. But this air compressor can't keep up with most of my air tools. What I'm going to be installing is a air water separator right here, and then this is going to go up into the attic, and there's actually going to be a hose reel coming out of the ceiling, very similar to like an auto body shop. Because this just sucks, I think. I mean, it's decent, don't get me wrong, but I always think that everything could be improved. So that's what we're going to do today. And I'm going to put the air separator here, and then it's going to go up in copper, and then it's going to transition to PEX. All right, it wasn't too bad. So it's a little rough. But that's it. And now what I did here was I just brazed the stub out portion that's going to be in the attic and below the drywall, just so I didn't have to do any brazing within the studded area, I guess, because I don't have any of those fire rated mats to protect the drywall and the wood and everything. And I'm not that good at brazing, to be honest with you guys. So yeah, I just did this on the bench, and then I'll stab it through from above. Well guys, I had a hell of a time brazing this. I've never brazed brass to copper, so I was struggling quite a bit. It's not the prettiest, but it works. So I think it's airtight now. So I'm going to drop this down. And so I did have a little bit of a problem trying to stick that stub out through. I didn't drill a big enough hole in the drywall, so I went up and down a couple of times. So I just cut all that out. But what I'm doing now is I'm starting to install the water separator so that I can begin dry fitting the copper. Once I had the water separator installed, I started at the top at the stub out so that I can come down laser straight and not have to do any weird offsets or have any misalignments. And yeah, so as you can see, the water separator is off of the wall a little bit. You'll see me here in a second. It's a little bit off camera because I turned my back to you guys. But what I do is I bend the vertical piece of copper to give it like a 22-degree angle or so to get that, offset off the wall. And this is what I was talking about, where I was bending it, but my back was turned. You can see my conduit bender right there. It's just a very slight bend. If I had to go like more than that, and I needed to do like a 90-degree bend, it definitely would have kinked the copper. So unless you have the right copper bender, I wouldn't suggest this. But for a small amount of bend, you can get away with it. Once I finished the dry fit, I just started to, prep everything, putting flux, cleaning it, sanding it, doing all of that, and then just solder it all. And I'm not very good, so I just took it over to the vise and made it the most convenient as possible so that I can hopefully get a good result. And I'm not a plumber by any means, so I just did my best. And I was kind of struggling, but by the end of it, I got decent at it, I guess. Being that there's multiple turns in this copper, I did know that I was going to have to brace some of it in place, but for the future, if I ever needed that water separator to be replaced or it failed, I did install a union. You can kind of see that's what I'm soldering right now, is that little 3-inch piece or whatever to where the union meets at. If I didn't put that union, I would have to braze it in place, So this is where the alignment is important, because if I jack up the alignment, then it would either not be level going up the wall, or I'd have like some kind of weird kink as it enters the ceiling. So I ended up just marking it with a Sharpie at each 90 right before I prepped it all, so that I could just realign the 90s with that Sharpie mark and then, solder it in place. Alright, so I have finished up all of the copper, at least the stub out up, and then it transitions to PEX. Ironically, as I was working on this, the actual reel got delivered. So, pretty helpful. Some China brand. I don't know what it is. Kind of feels cheap, to be honest. But, whatever. It is what it is. This guy's. So, I've run my laser up top on the ceiling, and I'm trying to align where these are going to come out. And then I've made a template. So, what I'm going to do for this is they're going to end up going just about right where those cones are at. So I'll have to relocate some of that. And then I'm going to run some 2x4s across the top so that it can actually hang upside down and then exit down the ceiling. I think what I'm going to do for this, since it's so hard to work and set up a camera inside the attic, is I'm going to go like first person view. So it should be kind of cool. Alright guys, so I'm just kind of gathering my stuff up here. And something I just realized is I do kind of wish that this fitting right here, instead of putting a 90 on it, I would have just left it straight so that I could go up and across, but I guess that's a little too late now. So here's what I'm planning. I'm going to plan for 2x4s to go from here to there. I'll probably set, or maybe I'll do 2x6, so it's just a little more space. But I'll just fasten them straight into this, and then I'll fasten the hose reel and electrical reel up to those 2x4s. So I'm going to run this up and over. And this is going to work out a lot cleaner than I was kind of expecting, to be honest. I should put my insulation back. Alright, I had to get a new little plastic thing. I think I used that previous one as a little sample to show someone how this worked. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, I think I already spent this one before. I think I stretched it before just to show someone how they worked. And I didn't remember, but it was like loose fitting, so I thought I could just do it over again, but I guess not. Yeah, see, now it's grabbing. So now what I'll do, I'll strap this here, but I don't actually have straps, so I gotta go to Home Depot. I'll strap it all the way across, and I'll probably cut it after I strap it. And these rollers will just be the guides for the air line and the electrical line that'll be coming out of the ceiling. And what I did was I just put a through bolt through the drywall, through the roller plate, and then put a really large washer on the backside so that the drywall wouldn't get crushed. Since I needed a longer bolt, I ended up going up one size just because I wanted to use a grade 8 bolt just for the color, no other reason other than the color, and I think it looks cool. So I ended up drilling out the plates for the larger bolt because that's what I could find in the 1.5" version. And then all I'm doing right there is doing what I said previously, which was putting the through bolt, large washer, tightening it up just enough so that the drywall didn't get crushed. Alright guys, we're back up in the attic space. I just finished up the rollers. So what I've got cut up here is two 2x6s. I'm going to fasten them up to here. This is what I bought to connect the air line. They don't actually sell a PEX to 1/4 inch adaptation, so I had to go PEX to 1/2 to 1/4. I bought this little adapter in the air compressor section, which is a 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch adapter, and that, or reducer, I guess. This is 1/2 inch PEX, and I'll be able to quickly replace this if it ever goes bad, stops reeling or whatever. So yeah, it's only 9 inches total. Man, I actually got 2x10. Oh man, I measured that before. Oh shoot, these screws aren't even gonna make it. I need like 3-inch screws. I don't think I have any. Guess I'll just tighten it up for now. So basically all I did here is now I'm just giving myself somewhere for my reels to attach to. So I ended up doing 2 2x6s because of how long the reels mounting platform was. I wish I had just gotten a 2x10 and then I would have just installed one piece, but I thought this first person view was going to show a little more, but honestly the angle kind of sucked. And I got some lag bolts for mounting it, and I used my tape measure kind of as a plumb bob to verify where I needed to mount that thing on those 2x6s in order to have a nice alignment for smooth operation between the reel and it exiting the drywall. And just adapters. Oh, this is gonna go man down. Oh no. Let's go that way with it. Now all I've got to do, crimp this bad boy on there, but I just need to decide on where I'm going to put it. And I'm thinking right here. It's a pretty good spot. Out of the way, I won't hit my head on it. So, where are my spare screws? All right. Yeah. Okay. I don't even know what this thing can even see, but I hope you guys can see what I'm doing.
But I only have one strap. I went all the way to Home Depot and forgot the one thing I went for. Oh, gotta love it. Oh, I bent the heck out of that.
Well, here it is. We got the reel up. I've got the pecs terminated here. I got one strap up, but I do need to strap the rest of these down that way all the way to there. So I'm about to leak test it right now. I just sent it down. I do need to put the stop back on it, but for now all the attic work is done, so let's keep it pushing. Well, I was testing for leaks and I did have one. Well, actually I have two. So one of them was here at the Union. I just tightened it up. Now it's not leaking there anymore. And the other one, let me bring this back up to pressure. And I'll show you guys the second leak, which is blowing my mind because it's on the reel itself. So from the factory it's leaking, and this pisses me off. But I bought a cheap unit, so what can I expect? But I think it's in the weld. I'm gonna have to I'm probably gonna have to warranty this thing, or I guess return it. I thought I was gonna be able to just tighten up this fitting right here, but I actually think it's on the welded portion of this this black part. Well, I thought I was gonna fix it, but clearly I'm not. I didn't realize that it was on the welded portion. So yeah, I'm gonna have to return it and replace it. Crap. Other than that, at least all of my work is good. I'm gonna unplug it for now, and I'll bring it back up to pressure, and I'll leave it up overnight and see if there's any leaks in my work. At least I was able to identify it was the reel and not my stuff. I did have a leak in my work, one spot at the Union. I just cranked it down a little harder and we're good now. Moving on to the last item for this episode was adding this 20 amp circuit for a retractable electrical reel. And let me go up into the attic and show you that. So here's my final assembly for the retractable hose reel. I replaced it from that crappy blue one. Ended up returning it and just using the hose reel I already had. The only reason I bought one in the first place was because I wanted a longer one. This one's only 50 foot, but I wanted to have a 100-footer so that I could actually reach all the way to the street. And this electrical reel is 65 feet. I've got a dedicated 20 amp circuit coming in right here. And yeah, so this is just a VVOR little setup. It's fairly inexpensive. I think it was like $100. And all I did was I ran from this box up over the rat runs, and it runs down that post and then across the studs and over to my sub panel, which is over that way. I do plan to strap all of that wiring along with this PEX, but I have some more things I want to add. And before I go strapping everything, I just want to do it once, set it and forget it, and not have to, demo my work and everything like that. So here is the final of what it looks like from below. I can retract the hose, do whatever I need to do, set it back up. Same thing with electrical. I've got 65 feet of this and 50 feet of airline. So it's pretty cool. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. If you like how my garage build is turning out so far, come back next week for episode number 6.